engines, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 in the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR highlight.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels including Logitech, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.
Good evening everybody and welcome to ARL-TV for this round 15 of the ARL-TV GP260 Championship. My name is Andrew Woodhouse and I'm joined this week by Dean Prescott. Dean, hello mate.
Hello.
Got Mid-Ohio today and we've got 16 or so of our best drivers tackling this course. It's going to be a 28 lap race. You've been practicing here this week, have you, I assume?
No, I was actually told early that I'd be commentating, so...
You haven't practiced at all then this week?
No, not touched it.
Okay, well the track itself then is a tricky circuit, tight and twisty, not much room for error at all, and the drivers are going to have the work cut out for a clean race today, and especially Tony Reposard, the championship leader. I believe he has wrapped up the championship, is that correct?
That is correct. He won last round, so wrapped up in the points.
Do you have the table there for us?
I'm just trying to get to it.
Fortunately, I haven't got the I don't have the capability to view the table at the moment.
Yes, here we go. Tony Reposard is on 298, and Peter Velkov, who is in second, is on 197.
Okay, so he wrapped up the championship last week with another win, and he really has been the class of the field this season. It's been so difficult for anybody to touch him in the races or even in qualifying. I think qualifying's been the key. He's managed to start on the front row many times, and that's allowed him to be able to control the races. It's a tough ask for anybody to take any points off him, even in the remaining races, Dean.
Yeah, this is the first of the 4 of the last races, and it's 25 points for a win, so he has got that 1 point to seal the deal. But yeah, it's going to be a nice little battle actually for second, third, and fourth actually. Now looking at it, with Peter, Nenad, and Marco, those two are very close in the points. So
yeah, that's right. They've been the only drivers really who have been able to take it to Tony during this season, and you know that this battle's been, they've been fighting with each other for most of the season, and João Rodriguez and Paul Nelson, they've been there or thereabouts as well, so it's going to be very interesting to see who just come away with the second place. Just taking a look at the qualifying times now, actually, and Tony Ripsard is on provisional pole. It's only by half a tenth from Peter Velkov, but in the practice session earlier on, he did post a time two tenths quicker than that, so I'm interested to see if he can improve on that one. There's only 4 rounds to go then, so there's still 100 points available for the drivers there, so there really is an opportunity for the guys to move up into the top 5 in the championship. And, well, Mr. Dean Prescott, you've got a few chances left as well.
I wish I had, but unfortunately it seems like we've lost Alex for the remaining of the season. He's actually concentrating on his FW31. On his race to pro, so...
Does that mean your season's over?
It does, unfortunately, and I'm sure Darren will be rubbing this in my face, but 0 points Prescott.
Well, that's a shame, but that's only about as many points as I could have got this season. Don't worry, mate. It's I don't think I'd have done much better. But you've only done a few races, so I'm sure you can come back next season. That'll be announced at some point in the near future. Well, in the future, and well,
officially said about that yet, so.
No, that's it. But you know, just stay tuned to ARL-TV to find out about that. And okay, so the challenges of this track then, it's very bumpy, very twisty, and you know, there isn't much runoff area either. There's grass and there's fairly high curbs as well, and a lot of adverse camber. The guys are going to have to be really careful. They're going to have to look after the tyres as well and make sure that they don't, make any mistakes really, because that's the key. And in this Star Mazda car, it's definitely a tricky beast on tracks like this. You've got to slide the car around a lot, and as you can see there, yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do at speed and in this Star Mazda car.
Yeah, it's actually a tough little track from previous experience, like I said, with the IndyCar, and in fact I think I've done some tin tops around here as well, so. But yeah, it is a track that does kind of suit the Star Mazda with it having a bit of a loose rear end. It helps with some corners, but coming over those hills, it can get very sideways very quickly.
Yeah, it does have a little less power than the FW31 or the Lara IndyCar, for instance. So it's not probably quite as bad over those crests, but you still got to watch it. You still can't really go flat out over them, as that's a big moment for Rodriguez, and he does very well to get out of that one intact. So the grid at the moment, then Ripsard and Velkov are sharing the front row with Montaldo and Rodriguez, the Venezuela GP teammates, in on the second row. Now, Dean Trident have pretty much wrapped up the Constructors' Championship in a commanding position. And Venezuela GP, though, however, have been their closest challengers this season, and Montaldo and Rodriguez have been a good team, haven't they?
Yes, they have. They've gelled really well, actually. I have seen them in pre-practice of the sessions, actually going out and racing together, maybe getting a draft, so maybe a bit of team tactics, but yeah, like you were saying, Trident have pretty much sealed it. Just
of course,
looking at the tables, Trident are on 363 and Venezuela on 235.
So it is still possible for Venezuela GP, but they would need a disaster for Trident, really, in order to lose that Constructors' Championship and the prizes that go with it. You can see there, Knut Martinsen pulling off onto the side of the road.
And we've come to the end of qualifying.
We have indeed. So Tony Ripsard takes yet another pole position, and it's becoming it's becoming a usual thing to say on a Friday evening.
Yeah, he's not as quick as he was in practice, but
not quite. But I suppose he'll have been taking a little bit off, though, in order to make sure he gets a good time in.
Now they are at this track officially this week as well, only with a slight variation of coming into turn 2, the first hairpin. The official one, they have the chicane.
Yeah, so it will definitely have helped these guys to have had practice on the track this week, and to be working towards that. It's one of the difficulties in the championship like this, a hosted championship, that where you're not running the same track for your official championship.
Fun though, sorry.
And we see in some other series as well, we see in the V8 Supercar as well, that the V8s don't always run the same track week in, week out as the official series.
In fact, I think they are actually sticking to the official one with just one variation, which was earlier on in the season.
The V8s?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
But they are doing 60-minute races and sometimes limited fuel as well, so...
Yeah, so there are slight variations in both championships compared to the official series. So off the start then, it's quite a difficult start here, isn't it? Because the grid's quite undulating itself, and especially the first few rows starting on quite an incline there, and it could potentially make it difficult because some of the guys at the back are going to be coming a bit faster, getting the downhill run.
Yeah, thankfully though it's not a rolling start, so...
No, I'm not going to say anything, just no. Rolling starts are very tricky on this circuit, as we're just waiting, it appears, for Prescott, and I think... Yeah, there is one of the Arden cars, Fabio Mantellini. I'm just waiting for him there, so just Prescott to come.
Sounds there now.
Indeed, so the revs, you'll hear the revs rising, and you'll see the red lights come on here at Mid-Ohio.
Green, green, green.
And now the green light is on here, and Velkov got a fantastic start. Repsol bogged down a little bit there. Good start by Venezuela GP. You got Paul Nelson just in behind in P5. He slots in. He's trying to take fourth from Rodriguez.
It does look like Repsol's lost the lead.
It's down towards turn 1. Repsol's going for the inside on Velkov. As he made it stick, Velkov's trying around the outside. I think Matievich is off into the grass, and one of the Venezuela cars, there's big contact behind, but meanwhile the two leaders are side by side. Repisar does have the inside for turn number 4. Oh, and there's contact between the two, I think. Velkov retains the lead, but Repisar hanging it round the outside. Going to come to blows, Dean, I think.
Seems he already has. We've got Wojciech and Paul Nelson.
Oh, as Velkov has a little look, and he takes a tighter line up and over the hill, down the back straight under the bridge. You've got Montaldo there as well, the Italian in Venezuela GP colours. Look at Velkov, he's all over him, Dean.
As well as, is that Joel Rodriguez from 4th position who was caught up in that first lap?
There's Montaldo in the... Oh, caught up on the first lap. Yeah, it was Rodriguez. We'll see what we'll see what the timing says as we come through to complete the first lap. Repisard leads from Velkov, Montaldo, Colin Cunniff in 4th. Terrific start by the Coloni driver, he was 8th on the grid. Liam Williams up to 5th, Fabio Mantellini 6th. Lee Thompson 7th, Charles Sears 8th, and Aaron Mullen in 9th. Cameron Barker for Ocean Racing in 10th. Matievich has just got by Martinson, so that's 11th for him. Venter in 13th. We've got Nelson, Rodriguez and Rabstin. That's 3 of the usual top runners there in the pits.
Looks like Aaron is the biggest winner out of that, starting from the back of the grid.
And he's got Aaron seems to settle into the race pace a lot better than he does in qualifying, Dean, I think, in general. It's surprising, actually, because when I first met Aaron, he used to be extremely good on the F1, on the console, on time trial mode, but he doesn't seem to be able to ever get it together in qualifying that well.
His style's changed, being a different game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, as he blocks the inside there, it's good driving, because you can't really go around the outside on that penultimate corner. onto the straight. It's surprisingly tricky, that one, isn't it? Downhill. You think it's going to be flat out, not quite enough room there, is there?
No, it does get a bit bumpy on the exit as well, so...
It does indeed, especially on the rolling starts, Dean, as you said earlier on, before we started the broadcast. As Barker has a look.
There, actually, a little further up in the grid.
As Repisad's got the lead back from Velkov. We didn't actually see how that went down. Might have actually been on the stream there, but...
I think that was a pass on the back markers with Wojciech and Paul Nelson.
Cunniff and Montaldo battling over third there. We've got Williams in fifth. Let's have a look at this now.
Thankfully...
Oh, that's Rabstin who's already pitted. So that's what was confusing.
Very sideways.
Oh, it's I think it's Fabio Manzolini. He went right in front of Rodriguez there. There's a lap down. Have a look, where's... Oh, Nelson spun the Arden. And is that... Oh, it's not going to be retirement for him just yet, but... Oh, that's a shame for him. He's been doing extremely well the last few weeks.
Yeah, he was caught up in the first lap as well, so he has on his first tow.
This is not unlike a wet... This is not unlike a wet Formula 1 race, is it, Dean? There's a lot of people in positions that you wouldn't normally see them in.
Yeah, as catching them out a little bit, actually.
Yeah, as you rightly mentioned, each driver gets one fast tow. Put that in plain English, you can come into the pits and your car will reset, so your damage will be wiped off, and you'll have a fresh machine to go with. So, and that's to encourage people, really, if you get caught up in anything at the beginning, to carry on and see if you can pick up any points. That's what Rabstin, Rodriguez and Nelson are doing. All three of those men, Dean, they're definitely quick enough to possibly be able to get some points by the end if they keep going.
Yeah, the way this is actually panning out, it's could see a few more incidents between some drivers.
In fact, Rabstin and Rodriguez are now past Nelson. I think Nelson's had to tow without getting back to the pits there, so that's going to cost him quite a lot of time.
Fabio very close with Charles then, actually. Charles just had to back off a little bit too much.
Yeah, this is a better showing for Manzolini in the Arden. Ahead of the Coloni of Sears.
Please
oh, and off goes...
not Liam, sorry,
off
Lee.
Goes Lee Thompson. I don't know if he's... gets it back in gear. Oh, has he got steering problems? Let's have a look here. What happened?
Nenadou's got the problems.
He just loses it, Thompson. Oh, he just got slightly clipped by Matijevic, and that's what sent Matijevic off the track, and I think it may have given Thompson some steering damage there. Thompson goes back to the pits. I'm a little surprised he didn't carry on there and try and get it back to the pits to, like you said, to get his fast tow.
Nenad's just parking it up now.
Matijevic, that was a huge crash that he took on the left-hand side. So did Matijevic manage to drive that into the pits there, or did he just tow that back in?
I've not seen him.
I think he towed it back in, didn't he?
Just flicking through.
The Repisad comes over to complete lap 5, and he leads by 2.5 seconds from Peter Velkov. Montaldo is in third, 3.5 off the lead. Cunniff in fourth for Coloni. Then Liam Williams is having a very good race in fifth. And then Sears is up to sixth with the demise of Thompson and Matijevic. Cameron Barker is Darren's teammate up in seventh. That's terrific from him, as you see the lapped car of Rodriguez going through there. So this might allow Barker actually to possibly leapfrog his teammate there. I'm not sure what if we'll get any comment there for.
I think it might be sixth that he might need to be in. So
Mr. Kirk on that one. I don't know if he's been in the points before, Cameron Barker.
I can certainly check.
There's definitely some comment from Mr. Kirk, but we can't repeat that on air.
Cameron Barker does actually have 4 points.
That's a friendly. So he's got 4 points. So if he finishes in the 7th place, then he will overtake Darren Kirk to move up in the table. To which our broadcast colleague was not very pleased with at all. Understandably.
Looks like
But-
Aaron's had a bit of a bit of an
Must have had a-
incident. Just dropped down to 10th actually. So
Yeah, must have had a moment before, because he was 10th before the crashes with Matievich and Thompson, and then he went back down to 10th from 8th. He was in front of Martinson, so I don't know what's happened there. Interestingly, for Knut Martinson this season, he's had a habit of picking up the scraps of the points, hasn't he? He's kept it clean, he's not made many mistakes, and that's what. And he's fairly new to iRacing, and it's one of the things that you know, you learn, and if you can be consistent and get to the end of the races, good things will happen. Oh, as off goes Mullen. Spins. He spins, but he won't lose any positions.
yeah, he's got that buffer of at least a lap. So
Got nearly a lap on Rabstein. So Mullen, all he needs to do really is is finish the race without any more mistakes, and
ooh,
can definitely.
wow. His car must be very loose. He's just backing it into every corner. But it's allowing Cameron to catch him up even more.
Yeah, I was talking about this with Alex on the last broadcast, and I think it's one of the things that we've noticed, especially watching Tony drive. I think it's one of the things you have to do with this car to drive it quickly. And Sears is a quick driver. He's definitely improved throughout the year as well. And I think if there is another season of this championship, I think we'll see him definitely a bit further up grid next time around.
Now the car behind just these two is Fabio, I think.
Yeah, Manzolini, who is a lap down. So we've now got 5 drivers. We've got 10 drivers on the lead lap. We've got 5 drivers 1 lap down. Paul Nelson, I believe, is retired, so like his afternoon is over. Reposad leads by 2.8 seconds now from Velkov, which actually it's a bit surprising considering the battle they had at the beginning of the race. But Reposad, I mean, he did repass Peter very easily, but the Bulgarian does retain 2nd place, and I think he'll be happy with it really. I mean, obviously he wants to win, but I think if he can come home with another podium finish, I think he'll be very content indeed.
Yeah, I think he's just out there to have a bit of fun now. He's got it in the bag, so.
As it looks like Barker has actually got the pace on Sears here, Dean, which is a little surprising, really.
I think maybe backing in a bit too much is Mr. Sears.
Might be just stressing the rear tyres a little bit too much.
Yeah, you possibly could get away with taking tyres in the pit stop, but he'll possibly just had a bit too much time to your pit stop, so he'll lose that position, obviously. So,
having said that, though, for guys like maybe Knut Martinson, Conrad Venter, Aaron Mullen, it wouldn't be a bad idea to take tyres and gamble because they've got a big distance behind them to those lapped cars. So maybe as it looks like maybe Mullen's been off again. As he's lost a lot of time.
Nearly a minute behind now, actually.
It's just hemorrhaging time. His last 3 laps. Well, in fact, his last lap was back up to a 22.3. Pretty respectable. So it was just that one spin, which cost him 14 seconds, and it's a lot of time really to lose. I mean, if you make one of those mistakes in every race, you'll lose a lot of positions really over the course of a season. As Velkov is pegging the gap now, so Reposad 118.2 in the last lap, Velkov 118.5, but didn't really lose a great deal. Montaldo lapping around the same time.
Oh, there we go, Paul Nelson has left and joined TeamSpeak.
As indeed, we should maybe get a word with him and see if he wants to see what happened to his race.
He's just sat in the welcome channel at the minute, so.
Do you want to bring him in, Dean? Sure.
I can give it a go.
See if he's up for a chat.
Hey, Paul.
Hello, Paul.
think I just saw him flick away.
Oh well, we'll see if we can grab him possibly later on, and maybe at the end of the race.
I'll just leave him there in case he does come back and he notices.
Now we've got...
I just spotted Liam Williams said pass right. As Paul has just reappeared.
If you press the wrong button. Oh, mate, oh no, he's got... he has got Rodriguez behind him who's been lapped, so sensible driving by Williams. And when Rodriguez gets to him, he'll just let him go, which is a good idea. He maybe gets slipstream. Williams pits. They're taking advantage of this to come into the pits. I think it's a good idea.
Sorry to interrupt, it seems like we've missed this. Cameron Barker's actually got past Charles Sears.
He has indeed, so Ocean Racing into 6th. Well, that's terrific for them. That'll equal their best result of the season if he can stay there.
It was actually coming out of turn 2. Very brave. Charles looked like he had a bit of a wiggle coming into turn 2. And then Cameron had the run all the way down.
It's not the easiest passing place, that. Down into 3. Well, it's probably 4 technically. The King probably counts as 3. Into 4, it's not the longest braking area, is it? And it's a cambered corner as Sears goes up the inside. Very nearly makes contact with Barker, but just about manages to stop it in time. I think it was a good idea to try to pass him, try to make a revenge pass, so to speak, down there, to make up for the last lap. And now down this tight, twisty section, it's not quite one line, is it? But you've got, as Barker's made a mistake, coming onto the back straight, and I think Sears has to make this work to get this 6th place back, and he has. So it is a flowing track, though, isn't it? When you get into a rhythm, it's very nice to drive.
Yeah, it can be, but it can just bite you when you're least expecting it.
Yeah, all you need to do is outbrake yourself at the end of that long straight, and there you are in the grass, and you're miles away from anything. So yeah, you've got to be careful. It's something as well that the tyres can be punished around here. I'm not sure it's as bad for these Star Masters as Sears goes to the inside just to defend from Barker. That's a lapped car. Fabio Mantellini, I believe, there in the Arden. These two, the last thing these two want to do, sorry, is get involved with Mantellini.
Yeah, Mantellini should really be backing off, letting these two have their own battle. Maybe it's putting a bit too much pressure on Cameron, who's having to block a bit more than what he would be. Yeah,
unless he lets him go. I mean, I think the problem is, if he lets him go, he needs to do it quickly and he needs to do it well, because otherwise he's going to lose touch completely with Sears. Although he does have the pace on him, I think, so maybe it's a good idea for him to let Mantellini through and then see if he can get an opening when Mantellini goes by Sears.
Possibly, but Mantellini does look like he drops off in this 3rd sector.
Yeah, a little bit actually. He's not quite as quick, is he? But as you said, if Barker passed Sears into turn 4, then that makes sense that he's good in the last sector to close up, and he's good in this 1st sector as well. Especially into this hairpin, there's so much time to be gained. Everybody thinks it's the fast corners where you gain your time. No, it's not really. It's, a good line into a slow corner, and that's 1/4 of a second to the good.
Especially that one as well as 3 or 4 lines into that one as well. So
it's a very long corner. It's cambered. There's a new strip of concrete in there as well. Tarmac, where it's a little bit more grippy, and you've really got to be precise as well. I remember when driving here, did a lot of practice laps here in the IndyCar series, and it's, especially as well in this middle sector, you can see where they're going through. You see that resurfaced piece of track, that you've got to stick to that really for optimum grip. It's so easy on this double right-hander there to lock up the brakes and go wide.
Hello, Paul, are we back?
Oh, Barker's off. Sorry. Barker's off into the tyres.
As well as Lee.
And that was in quite an unusual place, it has to be said. He just dipped 2 wheels on the grass, and there's not much runoff area there. If he can get that back to the pits, which he should be able to, be able to get a fresh car and stay on the lead lap. So Barker, oh, he's going to have a jump turning it though. Look, the damage on that car. Bent that steering on that right hand side. Real trouble.
Well, let's see if we can actually get hold of Paul this time. Hello,
Yes.
Paul? He does seem to be talking, but we're getting no sound from him, so...
So see if you can fix.
some problems.
See if you can fix his sound issues.
How about that?
Yeah,
Hey, there we go. Paul Nelson, hello.
Genius.
A fan Australian in the league.
Yeah, hi guys. Pretty frustrating. It looked like there's a bit of a netcode there with Zhao. It was a good meter probably between us. He looked like he slid a little bit wide, and I thought he'd spun on his own or cut back in front of me, but there was definitely a netcode there. So it was really disappointing after what was a solid qualifying result for us.
Yeah, it looked like all hell broke loose at the start. The teammate got involved in something as well, so it's not been a great day for the team. But what was your aim for the race? Did you think you could get onto the podium today?
Yeah, we had some good speed. I think in qualifying, I probably could have found another couple of tenths, but I messed up a corner or two there, and I just didn't get it all together. But it was still it was looking pretty good, and I was definitely going to be aiming for that top 5 to hang on to that, and just really disappointed. There's a pretty big good meter net code there. I guess I could have. I had Nina to try and have a go on the outside, and I didn't. He looked like he put a wheel on the grass there, and he had Wodge right behind me. So yeah, I wasn't wanting to hang around in the keyhole for too long. But yeah, unfortunately, I just got a bit close to Zhao, and he got a bit close to me in turn, and that was it. There you go.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, really. And you got a decent start as well, and you've had good pace especially in the second half of the season. You've really been strong, and I suppose for the last few races, it's looking positive for you though. Yeah,
my form will change track to track. I think the same with all of us. I should apologise to Zhao. Zhao probably thinks that I put a wheel into him, but it's definitely in that case in my defence. But disappointing. And looking forward to the rest of the season. Every track's going to be different. We've got a few tracks we're going to that no one's been to before, so that'll be interesting. It's unsurprising. It always seems to be the same couple of guys that we're chasing at the front. So hats off to Tony for the championship. And anyhow,
he's a bit special, isn't he? I think seems to have something.
We're actually off to your home Grand Prix next week, actually, Paul. So is that a bit of a home advantage, maybe?
Oh, well, it's Phillip Island next year. No, yeah, pretty. Yeah, I enjoy lapping that track. You're on edge. It's I think we'll probably see some pretty big gaps throughout the field. I don't know where I'll be, but yeah, I'll be pushing hard to hang on to a top 5 spot again.
Yeah, it's definitely fast and furious at Phillip Island. Do you have much experience of the track then, in general?
Yeah, we've been there once before. Yeah, in official series, I got a few laps around there, but the car's changed. I was surprised that the car felt here this week very similar to what it has in previous seasons, but some of the other tracks we've been to, the cars felt enormously different to previous seasons. So I guess we'll find out in a week's time. And it can be hard to judge, I think, in offline sessions, because when we come here to a hosted session, something with the physics, a lot of people tend to feel that there's a little bit of a difference with the physics somehow. So the handling, it's hard to judge until race day.
Interesting. Well, it's definitely something we'll have to have a look at in the future. Unlucky today though, mate, and good luck for the rest of the season anyway. I'll see you back next week and fighting for the top 3.
Yeah, it's the dynamic track conditions they haven't told us about. Thanks, guys. I look forward to see you next week.
See you later, Paul.
Cheers,
yeah, so just to catch up on things, looks like Liam pitted early to get a bit of track position. We're just hearing that Lee Thompson has been in the pit 7 times.
Where did his fast... Well, he didn't get his fast toe though, did he? After he spun, so I wonder if he used that and then maybe had another spin or something after that, but he's still in the race, still going.
Can I just say it wasn't me this week?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't here this week. As Prescott drifts it round turn 2, I think when you were talking about Liam pitting earlier, I think he, in general, I think that's going to work for him though.
Season, actually. From the races when I've been in TeamSpeak with him, he's been saying he's pitting early, so I was like, is that not a bit too early? But he seems to make it work, so...
Well, lap 10 of 28 he pitted, it's now lap 17.
18 for me, Tony.
It'll be 18 now when he crosses it, sorry, when Liam crosses the line, it'll be his lap 18. His lap times are alright, I mean, they're a little slower than what they were in the first stint though, so... Although that will account for the fuel, I suppose. I think it's a good move in terms of getting some clear track. That's always a bonus, you know. I think when you can get some fresh air and just do some laps on your own, I think it's definitely helpful. But as to be honest, most of the field now, in fact, pretty much all the field, are lapping on their own. Incidentally, Wojciech Rabstin has fought his way back into the points in 10th, and he is only a couple of seconds now behind Knut Martinsson in the Adax car there. That'll be a battle worth watching, I think, in a couple of laps' time. Martinsson 21.8 last time round, Rabstin 19.6. A big difference in times there as Montaldo laps Martinsson. Going to have to defend now from Rabstin. This is going to be interesting.
Oh, he's run too
wide. As he goes off, as I put the curse on him, unfortunately there. And Matijevic is actually only this is a battle for track position. Mantellini in 12th. Only 2 seconds ahead of Matijevic, who's only another 2 seconds ahead of Aaron Mullins. So that's a three-way scrap, and Mullins' bid for championship points has unfortunately
through, hasn't
he has. Unless a pit stop. I mean, is he pitted?
I think I did see him jumping into the pits, but I'm not sure if that was for damage or for a fresh set of boots.
So if he's made his scheduled stop, then that kind of makes sense. As the leader pits, Tony Repsard, so he comes for his scheduled stop. If that's scheduled for Mullen, then it will kind of make sense that he's behind the other guys because they came in and got their fast toes, didn't they? So that does make a little sense. Maybe he hasn't come to grief. Maybe he's just fallen behind these guys on the track. Conrad Venters, 8th. Still on the lead lap.
We'll not hear the end of that one, I don't think.
He's definitely done excellent jobs so far.
But again, he's only 3 seconds behind Cameron now, so...
Yeah, Barker's trip into the tyre wall has definitely not made it easy for him. But he's only lost one position, didn't he, in all that? Did he not lose any in the end?
No, I don't think he's actually lost any.
He was 7th, wasn't he? Because Sears just repassed him, so he hasn't lost any positions with crashing. That's not bad, is it? I think take that.
Jean Rodriguez up his sphincter, as you would normally say.
Who does? Conrad does. Yeah, not for position though. So, well, at least I don't think it is. It might be.
I think it might actually be.
I think it is now, and he's let him through, which is a bit surprising. Since that was for the final point, that was the final point he's just given away. Without a fight at all.
I think he does realise though, Conrad, that Rodriguez is one of the quicker guys, so...
Yeah, he is. It'd be nice to see a battle though.
Well, always is. I know that when I've been in TeamSpeak racing against the guys, if people have appeared in front of me, I've said to them, let's race, and they've pulled over. Just like Mr. Kirk has.
Yeah, I think when... He's not going to like that one. I think you're lucky that he's producing this and not actually commentating today. Yeah. But I think well you can. You might be fired next week like Alex. Unfortunately. Oh God! Well, God help everybody else.
Litos is just disconnected.
Unfortunate there, isn't another one of our broadcast colleagues. There were no fisticuffs in the commentary box last weekend, Dane?
No, it was all pleasant.
Oh dear. It's a horrible feeling. It is a horrible feeling. I remember crashing into Alex in one of the Formula One Grand Prix we did. Sorry, not crashing into him, but causing a crash, which meant that he ended up at the back, and yeah, it wasn't good. I thought he wasn't going to speak to me afterwards. It was horrible.
Just going through the pit stop stages now, so
yeah, Velkov has stayed out.
I think he's just been in actually.
I don't know if the scoring's updated itself then. Just Repusard.
I think it might be because it's a late or an early start.
It's an early pit line, isn't it? Yeah. That finish line, yeah, sorry. That's correct. So Repusard does maintain the lead. It's not by a great deal. I think it's about 5 seconds or so. I think Velkov's done a good job of hanging on to him. It's just, I think as we've seen on nearly every track this season, Tony's just got that 10th or 2 per lap, every lap. So demoralising for his competition.
Actually, just getting told Colin's not pitted yet as he comes into the pits.
There he is, yes.
So he was effectively the leader of the race, and I think he might actually get this one as well. Unless that was Tony coming over.
Yeah, he was. So Cunliffe doesn't quite lead a lap. I think that's been the first time this season he's led a lap. But the Scotsman is having a very good run. He's almost certain to maintain that 4th place to the end if he can keep going, which is, you know, it's an excellent achievement again. Put some solid results together. He's had some moments where he's thrown away good results, and I think he'll be disappointed with that throughout the year when he looks back on it. But in general, he's been a solid performer.
Am I seeing this as Paul Nelson's back on track? Oh, he's in the pits.
He's in the pits, so he might be having another go. I think he might. I think he might be of the feeling that if no, he's too many laps behind. I think he's just getting some practice in. Must be. I was going to say, I wonder if he's of the feeling that see if he can get some points, but he's too many laps behind. Fortunately, there.
Now, Colin's come out in a bit of traffic there, actually. He's got Mantellini behind him and Nenad in front of him, who are both a lap down, so...
And they're fighting each other, so that's,
they are, yes.
That battle is for position. I think Mantellini has actually been pretty much matching Nenad this weekend. Well, this evening. As, you know, he's been a lot closer to him than you'd normally expect. I think he's had a good run today, Mantellini, apart from unfortunately getting caught up on the opening lap or two. He's shown a lot of inconsistency this season, the Italian, but I think, you know, again, about practice, it's about getting races under your belt and knowing your league racer, as what Alex said last week. It's, you know, you have to, I think you've consistency over a season, and Mantellini, I think, if he can have a good strong 4 races at the end, it's going to build his confidence up no end. As you can see that Rodriguez is now up in the points in 9th.
Yes, he's dropped out of that one then? Or is he just making his way through?
He's just making his way through. I think Rabstin, I think after the pit stops it's just shaking out like that.
Yeah, unfortunately it has spread the field out quite a bit as well, so nothing really much.
Yeah, I think unfortunately we've got the crashes to blame for that, haven't we? And as it so often happens, it's quite a short race this one, isn't it? Though in comparison to some of the other ones we've had.
Yeah, 28 laps.
28 laps of it's only a 2.25 mile course. So
yeah,
it's one.
It's 120 as well, so.
It's one of the few tracks that's actually shorter than some of the ovals we go to on iRacing. As Rabstein in 9th. Doesn't really have any competition at the moment, unfortunately. Martinson in 8th. I think he'll be chuffed to bits with that, I really do.
Looks like Repsar's putting a lap on Canot.
Yes, very shortly. He's the last man on the lead lap, is Martinson, so...
And
Gonna go a lap
not
down.
actually that far up the road from Rabstein, so if you can keep
Not
this
a long
pace
way,
up-
no. It's 4 laps, though. I don't think he's going to get there in 4 laps. Unfortunately, I think if it was maybe 5 laps longer, I think he'd have a chance, but...
I actually didn't even realise he was on lap 24, to be honest.
24 of 28, it's gone by quickly.
Yeah,
As
it's
we
only
say,
35 minutes.
And
Session is booked for 55.
I think the early stop for Liam Williams has actually just helped him consolidate that 5th position. I think it was a smart thing to do. Came in early, didn't do anything rash. I think personally I might have stayed out a tiny bit longer and just done a longer first stint and kept yourself out of trouble a bit longer. But yeah, definitely, it's definitely worked for him though.
Yeah, I think maybe with people having little incidents here and there, I think he was thinking a bit ahead of himself, thinking, I'll get in the pits now, keep out of trouble. But it doesn't seem to have worked as well as what he would have thought, because nobody else in front of him has had much accidents, so...
No, I believe it's his possibly his first top 5 of the season. I'm not sure fully about that one, but he'll be very pleased with, if he can finish, he'll get 10 points.
Yeah, he had one at Suzuka. I think it was
right.
Suzuka, Rainfall.
I think I might have missed that one, so... But, yeah, very excellent job there then. His second top 5, Liam Williams.
Ooh, looks like Conrad's got past Nenad.
Yeah, this is a battle. I think Nenad's caught up. Oh, Matty is almost off the track there. I don't know if he hit him. If he made contact with the South African there. Interesting one.
The car looks fine, no rear wing damage. Usually if there is contact on the rear wing does show some damage.
Now Mantalini's only a second or so behind Nenad, so if this all closes up and they've got to let Cunniff through, well, I wonder if Matievich realises that that's the 4th place man. And Cunniff's going to have to be pretty careful, because he doesn't want to lose this 4th place down to... I think Nenad probably was too busy looking at Venter, and maybe thought that could have been Mantalini behind him.
Did just apologise to Colin then, actually.
I think they look very similar in the mirrors, though, the Coloni and the Arden. So you don't want to... there's not many laps to go at all.
No, we're on lap 27.
We're on the final lap once Reprasad comes round the final corner.
And obviously these guys are a lap down as well, so...
So Venter's going to be pedalling for all his worth here. Try and get this final point, and I think he's going to do it. Oh, it's going to be tight. Matievich is about 1.5 seconds behind. And he's lapping 3 seconds a lap quicker. Oh, he's only got 2.25 miles to go, Venter.
Colin has actually just done a very clever move, actually. Getting out of the way of the chasing car behind with Mantalini.
Yeah, he's 10 seconds ahead of Williams, so I think Mantalini will be thinking if anything happens between Matievich and Venter, obviously he'll get the final point, so he'll be happy if he can do that. Rodriguez is just behind this group as well.
It's going to make it very interesting if something does happen.
So Conrad Venter is going to have to drive the half lap of his life.
He's not got that far.
It's not far to go, but in this tight, twisty section, you've got a fast driver behind you. Just got to drive his line, I think. I think if he drives his line, he makes it. Through this tight, twisty section again. Is Matievich going to have a lunge?
He needs to be very careful, Matievich.
Oh, he's gone wide, Venter. He's going to need to block him. He's going to need to block him. Oh, contact. Oh, they're both off. And that was going to happen, wasn't it? As Mantalini's going to come through.
As well.
And Rodriguez just half a second behind him as Repisard wins. And the battle for the final point goes to Italy and Fabio Manzolini, who will think Christmas has come, Easter, everything all at once on the final lap there.
Who did just have a cheeky text there in the box saying thank you very much.
I think, to be honest, I think Venter had to block Matijevich for all he was worth there. It's a difficult. It's always a difficult one though for. Well, Matijevich was much faster. Venter was blocking, and I don't think he blocked early enough or far enough though. Do you? I think he had to block completely over to one side of the track if he was going to do it.
He did completely. He was doing absolutely everything right then, actually, Conrad. So
he was. I do think. Have a little look back
he
at
was
that.
And then had to get the pass done. And Conrad was.
Oh, you know what? He did kind of stay to the inside, didn't he? I think he just gave him enough. He just gave a car's width. Ah, you know what? I think Matijevich lost it.
Webside's just having some fun on the start-finish line, so.
It does look, actually, Dean, if you look from a different angle, that it looks like Matijevich actually got two wheels on the grass.
Just coming
Came
back to...
into Venter. So in trying to make that desperation pass on the outside, he just got a bit sideways and unfortunately cost them both the chance to score points today. And Cunniff was very close to getting rear-ended by Rodriguez.
Yeah, I think it was the two wheels on the grass and coming into the turn. It was outside wheel, outside rear wheel, obviously, his driving wheel. Would have just caught some extra grip and thrown him into Venter, but.
Yeah, I think Venter. I think you're right. I think Venter gave every single. I think he gave him enough room to get by there, and well, just about enough room.
Yeah, there's definitely 3 lanes that I can see there. So.
Anyway, so a good, well, great driving from the top 3. I think they were excellent today. Repsard, Velkov, and Montaldo. In fact, the entire top 5 were excellent today, and Williams only finished 8 seconds behind Cunniff in the end. So I think that's a heck of a run for Liam.
I think that was due to the incident just in front of Colin, though.
It was. He didn't lose a great deal of time though. So, but 8 seconds, I think, is over 28 laps is good going for Williams there. Cameron Barker in 7th picks up 6 points in the championship.
He jumps ahead of Mr. Kirk.
Does indeed. He's not going to be happy with that one, unfortunately. But I think he'll be happy for the team though.
Yeah, I think though Darren will be rubbing it in his nose that he's got a 6th and Cameron's only got a 7th. So
as Knut Martinsen does finish in 8th place, so that's his 2nd consecutive point scoring finish. Wojciech Rabstin.
Darren's just putting, he's saying no broadcast next week. He's back on track.
Wojciech Rabstin fought back very well up to 9th. In the end, Manzolini.
Guys, they really didn't they?
Yeah, I think they all came to grief at the beginning and managed to fight their way through. Rodriguez was half a second away from a point as well. Matijevich was, well, probably half an inch away from a point.
Controversial, really.
A little bit, but I think the defending was fair by Venter. I think he could have moved over even more, to be honest, originally, and tried to block that lane, but I think he did the right thing, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for either of them though today.
Yeah, that's correct. And we've got Williams, who's just jumped up into the interview channel.
Yes. Bring him in, see what he has to say. Good evening, Liam.
Hello.
Hello, well done. 5th place. You must be really happy with that.
Yeah, very happy with that. It's first week that I've managed to put in quite a lot of practice in a couple of practice races as well, so just the consistency was all I needed really after the first lap melee.
Yeah, starting 10th. Take us through the start. It must have been pretty hairy.
Yeah, I'm just watching it back myself actually. Luckily I didn't need to actually avoid anyone, but it all seemed to kick off around me.
Yeah,
No,
I'm just having a little look as well, and it was. So you had a decent start. You were side by side with one of the Arden cars, and you had
yeah,
quite a nice gap in front of you, so you could sort of see it all unfolding, couldn't you?
yeah, I could. Was really
Oh,
trying
that's
to keep
Nenad
Fabio
going.
behind.
Oh, there's all sorts of crashes going on there. I think.
Yeah, the exit of turn 2 was very hairy.
So we had Nenad went off in the middle of the corner.
Yep.
Then you had Paul and Zhao crashing into each other. Then you had who's that going off?
Wojciech.
Wojciech, and then he must have hit one of the Colonis. So that might have explained why. Is that Sears? No, it's Colin who managed to get through there just about.
Yeah, Colin managed to get through. I knew I didn't really have the pace to keep up with him, so it was just a case of keeping the gap to Fabio behind, but then I'm not sure what happened to him, but I just ended up in a really nice gap. Pitted really early as I'd planned, just to get myself out of the traffic and be able to run my own race, and yeah, ended up in fifth.
Called it.
Yeah, he did an early stop, and came out in some clear air. I think everybody had clear air by that point, actually.
Yeah.
But,
Well, yeah, I mean, I've made the early stop work in a number of races now, so nobody else seems to have followed me, so I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, we've got not for the first time this season. Actually, Wojciech Rabstin, Dean, has had a bit of contact with one of the Coloni drivers. I'm just watching this back from Cunniff's point of view, actually.
It does actually look like Cunniff hit.
I think
the
he did
back,
hit
that
him.
was.
I think he did hit him, but I think he was trying to come through the middle and he saw the gap.
Yep.
Tried to avoid him, and yeah, it's probably Colin's fault. Just.
No, saying that, looking at the speeds, Colin is at 80.
And he slowed down.
At 64, so.
But he did slow down, did Colin, coming out of the corner. It's a tough one. They're debating it now on the chat, but I think he did try his best to avoid him, I think. And I don't think he expected Wojciech to have slowed that much.
Yeah, I think it was just one of those. Once there was one accident, it was all out. Well, anything could have happened, really.
I do think possibly what Colin... Well, I know that when I'm in an incident like that, and you know as well, Liam, that you slow down. You don't want to slow down too much because you don't want to get rear-ended either.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean,
because that's always a problem, isn't it? If you slow down trying to avoid a crash, and whoop, there you go, you get hit up the backside. It's not necessarily the nicest thing ever, but
yeah, I've learned that in the ovals, so I will try and get through it as best as I can. But I just got lucky, really. Like I say, I didn't have to avoid anybody. It all opened up quite nicely for me, and then, I mean, once I'd defended from Fabio at the end of the long straight, I was home and dry, really.
Yeah, and
keep the fifth.
Following on from that result, then your second top 5 of the season. Move on to Phillip Island next week. What are your thoughts about that track?
I love Phillip Island. So
there we go. So expect to see you up there again next time.
Don't expect me to be quick, but I like the track.
Need anything else, Philip?
No. You think you've covered all bases, really, so.
Alright, Mr. Williams, thank you very much. Well done.
Until next week.
Yes. Take care, mate. I think as well, Dean, we were focused on the battle for the lead at the beginning. It was quite a bigger melee than what we thought, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't really get a chance to have a look at it with everything else happening, but it's good to see stuff happening there now. We've got quite a few people to choose from now. We've got Conrad, Charles, and Colin. So
I think we'll get one more. We'll get one more interview in as well. So who do we pick? You can choose. You choose.
Well, we normally have the likes of Colin and Charles, don't we? So let's give the South African a go. See what he has to say for that final.
Mr. Venter. Yes, my old sparring partner from F4.
Good evening, Conrad.
Good evening, guys.
Hello, mate. Welcome to the commentary box. Right then, the last lap. Take us through it.
What can I say? It was only with about when it came up 2 laps to go that I realized I could actually score a point here, and I thought I haven't done it so far in the season, so I'll get a little bit racy. And I think I might have just gone a little bit too defensive in that through that right-hander, and it was only on the replay when I looked back that I saw, and then I got a wheel on the grass, and that was it for both of us. But I mean, that's racing. There's nothing you can do about that.
It's very tough. I mean, you left room. You left just about enough room, I would say. But again, you can't legislate for someone losing it on the grass. I mean, he was trying to get through. That was the only chance he had as well. So, tell us about your race, and especially at the start. What was that like? It must have been quite. He spoke to Liam, and he said that was quite hairy. What did you make of it?
I'm used to starting at the back now, and you get a good view of what's going on. So I normally just hang back and see what happens, who goes off and who crashes out, and then I decide from there what I'm going to do. But there was quite a few guys that went off in the first 5 or 6 laps. And
there's a lot at turn 2, and it looks like both you and your teammate as well just hung back and waited for it all to unfold, and it was a bit of a mess, it has to be said.
I found it extremely entertaining. At
I bet you did.
I think I was running 7th at one point before my pit stop. And then after that, I came out of the pits, and all of a sudden I realized that most of the guys that had their incidents in the first few laps obviously had a fast tow, and they didn't have to pit again. And that's what I thought.
That would really depend on when they pitted for the fast tow, really.
Yeah.
The fuel consumption on this track was so low, you only had to do a splash and dash at the end, or somewhere during the race, to make it to the end. So if you about 6 laps in, you could make it to the end on a full tank of fuel.
When did Dane? Can you just look back and see when those guys pitted it? I must think it will have been on the first lap, wasn't it? So, I mean, did they pit more than once? Maybe Darren can tell us. Darren, have you got any stats there, mate? See if you can put on the channel and see how many times and when those guys pitted. Go and have a look. Yeah, I think we thought that because of the fast tow, they didn't really lose a lot of time, but were you surprised just how close they were to you when you came out your pit stop?
To be honest, that when I went into that pit stop, it is only the second time that I actually went into the pit. I was extremely cautious going through there.
Yep. Very easy. Very easy if you. Oh, sorry, mate. If you outbrake yourself in the second to last corner, it's very easy to end up in the pit lane as well.
And that's very true. I mean, but these guys, they were all 2.5, 3 seconds quicker than me. But I think I was aiming a bit high, maybe at the end there.
Yeah, we've got Joe Rodriguez, Paul Nelson, and Rob Steen that were in the pits after lap 1. So they would have had to take a splash and dash.
I'll just have a look and see on the lap chart and see if they actually did pit later on. Yeah, Rodriguez pitted on lap 23.
Rob Steen did lap 20.
Yeah, Mantellini went in, but I think he towed properly on about lap 6. So I think you'll be right there, Conrad. I think he did. He would have been fine to make it. Let's have a look. Matievich.
Nenad coming on lap 5.
He towed on 6 again. Yep.
So he would have been fine. I mean, he was a bit slower towards the end, but that's because he was behind yourself, Conrad. So.
Yeah, it just shows you the quality of these guys, that they can have so many incidents in pit and then still catch up and almost, well, not almost, some of them did make it well into the points.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying all season just how good everybody is in this league, and frightening pace at the top runners. And but you know, you'd be encouraged by the fact that you're in a position to score a point, and maybe in the rest of the races this season it'll encourage you to you know, practice a bit harder as well, and try and score some. Well, try and score some in the last 4 races.
Yeah, there's still
3
a couple
races.
of rounds to go. There will be some points scored, I promise. Well,
What do you-
I'll certainly give it my best shot.
What do you make of Phillip Island there, mate? We go there next week. Got
I've-
much experience on the track?
I have literally only done a few practice laps around it. It seems like a nice track, nice flowing track, but at the same time it's tricky as well. If you go off track, especially in the second half of the circuit, then you're gonna pay for it.
You've got to watch the undulations. I think it's quite similar to this track in places, isn't it, Dean?
Yes, you've only really got the one big drop, but
Very fast in the first the first couple of sectors is very quick, and yeah, you just
fast.
got to hang on, I think.
Fast exit to the lap, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, is that first corner, the first corner there, is that flat in this car? It's the last corner flat as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so you know, you've got some high speeds going on there, so it should be exciting next week. Should get some slipstream in action. So, what are your hopes for next week then, Conrad? Do you think you can score a point?
I'm very hopeful for the rest of for the last 3 races after tonight. I was sort of skeptical that if a point could be scored, but I mean it's possible. Tonight showed it. A few things gone better. If I made a few mistakes as well, so I didn't help myself through that. And I mean, if a similar sort of race crops up and I can do a little bit better, then I'm sure I can get into the points.
How are you, just quickly before you go then, how are you feeling with the car? You've been in this series for a few races now. How were you getting on with it? Are you getting quicker all the time?
I was more comfortable with the car before the new build came in.
Right.
It's been a bit tricky, and I've only been on iRacing since the beginning of January. And along with the Star Master, I've been driving the Riley DP and the IndyCar, so it's a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
But I mean, tonight I found pace tonight that wasn't there earlier in the week when we did the Star Master Championship in the iRacing leagues. I try and measure myself in percentage against these top guys, and if I can get anywhere within between 2 and 3% of the times that they're setting, then I'm quite happy at the moment.
All right. Well, thanks very much for your time. Dean, have you got anything for Mr. Venter there?
Did the IndyCar help you this week?
It did actually, especially with turn 2. I realized at some point during the race I did earlier tonight in IndyCar that I was way too slow going through there, and I certainly picked up a lot of tips from the IndyCar to help me with the Star Master tonight.
See, Woody, it does help.
Yes, it does indeed. It does when you don't crash on rolling starts. It does help. Yes.
Anyway, thanks, Conrad.
Thank
Yeah,
you, guys.
cheers, mate. Well done.
Cheers, fellas.
So,
Right.
that seems to be it.
Yeah, I think that's all we got time for, mate.
Really?
I was going to ask you that. I think I'll tell you what. We'll pick one each. I think my driver of the day is going to be Liam Williams.
You would pick the person I was going to pick.
You can pick him as well if you like. I mean, it's. I think he drove a very good race. You know, he kept out of troubles. Tony obviously did an excellent race, and he had a great battle with Peter at the beginning as well. Sadly, I think their battle for the lead was a bit overshadowed by all the carnage, wasn't it? But
Yeah.
I think in general, you know, again, the top five were flawless. Really, I couldn't really discredit them in any way.
Darren's picked Cameron Barker for not pitting. Sorry, I'll try and put my teeth back in. For not crashing into the pit lane.
Oh dear. Well, there you go. That's his teammate. So I'll tell you what, Ocean Racing have got a nice points haul for him today, so should be very happy with that. Okay, from all of us here on ARL-TV then, we'll see you tomorrow morning for the V8 Supercars. I'll be alongside Alex Simpson for that one. So tune in at 10 o'clock AM. We'll be streaming that one live. And it's been a pleasure, Dean. Thank you for your company tonight.
No problem.
And thanks to Darren for doing the stream as well. And everybody here at ARL-TV, up from all of us, from the GP260 series. We'll see you next week in Phillip Island.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels, including Logitech, Fanatic, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR High Racing.